Good morning, sixth graders. Welcome to lesson 90, geometric formulas. And I'm putting these up. In fact, I'm going to actually blow these up a little bit bigger, even though you have them on page 433, because you are going to have a quiz on these fine little jewels on Thursday. I take that back, not Thursday. I will be announcing it in chat time because I want to make sure I time it with the pretest. So, but anyway, we will talk about when the quiz is going to be in the chat time. So anyway, so here is what we have. You have a variety of formulas which you're familiar with in terms of rectangle. We have, again, a rectangle, which is basically four-sided, or I can get out my Kleenex box here, which is a rectangular prism. Or we have a parallelogram, which means a little bit like that. Because parallelogram, remember that they're basically slanted lines. And then you have a triangle, which we showed you earlier, which I put my triangular away from the previous lesson. And then you also have the square, which means all sides are perfect. And the end of the Kleenex box is pretty close to a perfect square. So anyway, we have those three shapes, and what you're really going to have to do, I expect these memorized, and we'll talk about that and I'm going to basically require you to give me the formulas. What is a perimeter? Perimeter is P times 4 equals S. So that basically means if I have a square that is perfect, that means I'm going to 4 times the side. So if a side is 6, that means I got to multiply it times 4 because it's by each other. Remember, this is the same as saying 4 times S, which means 4 times S, 4 times a letter, or in this case, number. So we have 6 times 6, or excuse me, 4 times 6, which means there's 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 6, so the perimeter equals 24, because 4 times 6 equals 24. If I say, what's the area of that? S squared. So that means a side. S stands for side. And I'm going to square that side. So side, if it's 6 and it's 6 squared, that means the area would equal 36, because I have 6 times 6, because each side is 6. I'm just going to kind of fill those in. To find the area, I have 6 squared, which is where area comes into play. Now, if I turn it around, and I have a rectangular. All right, I'm going to change my shape a little bit. All right, if I have a rectangle. Now, it's not a perfect square, so I can't just square it like I do here. And I can't just multiply 4 times the side because they're different lengths. Notice it says 2 times L plus 2 times W. So that means if this is 6 and this is 3, that means if this is 6, the other side has to be 6. So that's where the 2 comes in. I have 2 lengths, and so I'm going to go 2 times 6. And then we have the other side, which is width 2 times plus 2 times W, which is 3. So again, 2 times the length, which the length is 6, 2 times the width, which is 3. So the total is 12 plus 6, which equals 18. So the perimeter of this equals 18. Now by the same token, if I wanted to find the area equals length times width. We learned this earlier. Length, which is 6, width, which is 3. So 6 times 3 equals 18, and let's just call it inches. If this was inches, it'd be inches squared, because the number of squares that I can put inside there. All right, parallelogram. Change gears again a little bit. In fact, I'll just make this a little bit up here. If we have a parallelogram, and make it a crude drawing here, but it should work. All right, now parallelogram. That means 2 times the base, 2 times the side. All right, now, if I had the parallelogram and I have a side, remember in a parallelogram you have to have a height line that comes straight down. So if I have a height of, say, 10, and I have a base of 7, and I have and one of my sides over here, we'll just say that's 8, or let's call that 5, and this is 7, and this is 5. All right, so to get my height, make sure I make my lines correctly here. That means to find, for parallelogram, I gotta go 2 times the base, which is, again, 2 times 7, plus 2 times the side, which is 5, which equals 14, plus 10, which equals 24. So perimeter equals 24 inches. If I wanted the area, and remember, it's a slanted line, so I don't want these 5 for my height, because it's not. I gotta use my height line, which in this case is 7 times 10. Length times the width. All right, so 7 times 10, which equals 70, and it's inches squared. So A equals 70 inches squared. Okay? So we have a baseline, but the height line is different when figuring that. And they don't really say that in that formula. They just say base times height. But you notice you can't have a height line because there's no straight line. You got to have that invisible height line. All right, now triangle. Now I will clean up the board because there's not going to be enough room. If you notice, it says P times side 1 times side 2, or plus side 1 plus side 2 plus side 3. So that basically means a triangle has 3 sides. So side 1, 2, 3. So if I say this is say that's an 8, and this is an 8, and this is a 6, then that means I'm going to add these up. 6 plus 8 is 14. 14 plus 8 is 22. All right, inches. So that equals the perimeter. So adding them up, just like they said here. Formula, we just learned this a week ago. 1 times the base times the height. So again, we have slanted lines, so we got to create a height line. So let's say that height line that they give us is, say it's 10 feet. So that means the base is 6. So area equals 6 times 10, which is 60 feet. Ooh, I almost messed up. 60, but it's a triangle, so I got to divide by 2. So it would be 10 times 6, and then divided by 2. So that means A equals 30, we said inches, didn't we? Inches squared. Sorry about that. So remember, multiply base times height, and we got to divide by 2 because it's not a full rectangle. That's where the 1/2 comes in. All right, so again, you need to get these formulas memorized. There will be a quiz that I'm probably going to attach. I'm not sure the exact time frame yet, but we will discuss that in chat group as well. So again, get them memorized. You need to know all these. These are important formulas for geometry and so forth. So you need to know those. Okay, have a good day. We'll see you in chat group.